From the BBC World Service, in association with ABC and Akashvani, this is Stumped.
Hello and welcome to Stumped, your intercontinental hit of news, features and debate from the quirky world of cricket. I'm Alison Mitchell in London, although about to head to La France with various members of my family. Children outnumbering adults on this trip, though, to the south of France, which means it'll be chaos, but a great deal of fun.
How much cricket are you going to see down there, Ali? It's Stu Maxwell for the ABC in Sydney.
Yeah, probably not so much cricket, a bit more pétanque, I think.
Right. Oh, well, that's good fun. That's good fun. With a couple of glasses, you'll be away. It's Stu Maxwell, as I mentioned. I'm here in Sydney. It's cold and it's wet. But we can turn the radio or the TV on and watch Australia and South Africa in Darwin. I mean, you can't underestimate this country. We can do summer somewhere, sometime. And we're doing it in Darwin and we're doing it in Mackay and Cairns this week. And how exciting has it been? This young bloke, Brevis, my God, he can bat. He's at New De Villiers. And it was sparkling to watch all of that. But yes, it does warm you up.
I'm Charu Sharma for Akashvani, and I can tell you that India can turn up the monsoon anytime. In fact, Bangalore's going through another wet spell, which is very irritating, disturbing all my golf and tennis, and I get precious little anyway. But I think we're all enjoying a bit of a very brief international cricketing lull here in the subcontinent. And of course, there are many state leagues going on, so there's a lot of cricket going on, but we're just breathing a little easy now after all that frenetic action in England.
Coming up on Stumped with me, Alison Mitchell. We are continuing our build-up to the Women's World Cup, which takes place at the end of September in India, and we're focusing on England. Now, the team's been going through what's been described as a transition period, with new captain Nat Sciver-Brunt and coach Charlotte Edwards appointed in April. Well, since then, England have won 2 series against the West Indies in both T20 and ODIs, but lost in both formats to India. And there's been a lot of criticism about England's fitness and fielding as well, which we'll come to in a moment. When I spoke to the head coach, Charlotte Edwards, I began by asking what type of challenge a World Cup in India will pose to this England side.
Yeah, I mean, having played there myself quite a bit and obviously played in a World Cup there myself, it's going to be a big challenge. I think we're playing at many different venues as well, sort of north and south of India and over to obviously Sri Lanka. So obviously the spin aspect's going to be a challenge, I would imagine, the pitches. So we'll have to wait and see till we get there to see what sort of pitches we're put on, etc. But I think it's a great challenge, it's a great place to play cricket. I think it's always a place that I have many fond memories of, and obviously with the WPL and how that's accelerated sort of women's cricket in India over the last 3 years, I think we're in for a fantastic tournament.
Yeah, when you look back to the 2013 World Cup that was staged there, how different are you expecting this one to be?
I would imagine very different. I think, we were playing in front of reasonably small crowds at only a couple of venues. I'm expecting big things from this World Cup. And, I think if they build on what's happened from the WPL, I think we're in for a fun few weeks.
There's a number of unknowns. There are some knowns, and that is the quality of your captain, Nat Sciver-Brunt. And in Indian conditions, she was the lead scorer this year in the WPL as well. Just a word on what makes her so special as a batter.
She's incredible. I mean, her mental capacity is more than anything. And I think we've seen over this summer, Nat's had quite a lot thrown at her this summer, and the way she's sort of dealt with that, she's so calm. But in terms of her cricket, I think her game really suits India. She loves playing spin. She sweeps. She's got all the game to play in those conditions, and quick outfields. It makes it very, very difficult to stop her when she gets going. But she's had a great time out there in recent times, and I know she's looking forward to playing out there in the near future.
How crucial is her bowling going to be? Is she on track to be bowling at the World Cup?
She absolutely is. She's bowling in practice the other day. She's probably done about 3 or 4 sessions now, so things are looking really, really good in that respect. She is massive. I'm not going to lie. The balance of the team is massive. We've looked at the team this summer in all the ODIs we've played, and looking at different combinations we could play. But ultimately, with Nat bowling, it does add that extra element, and potentially you can play 7 batters. So she's crucial, but we're putting no pressure on her. We've got to just get Nat right. I mean, first and foremost as a batter and a captain, and the bowling is, if she comes through, which she will, it's more about workloads. It's not been about a massive injury. It's more about her workloads and making sure that she is ready to fire come October.
And how are the two of you gelling as a captain-coach combination? Obviously, she picked up a bit of an injury during the India series, so missed some matches there. You've had different captains that you've been working with as well, but how do you feel the two of you are gelling?
Yeah, really well. I mean, we've known each other a long time, obviously worked really closely throughout the WPL where she was vice captain. And, we've got a very chilled relationship, it's not too, and what's been lovely is the fact that, most things we talk about, we're on the same page. And I think that's one of the big things for me is you think on similar lines. You can have disagreements about certain things, but I've been really pleased with how, our conversations have gone so far. As we all know, Nat is, I always say she's like Superwoman, how she deals with everything in her life, but she's unflustered and just very calm and she's great to work with.
The results of the India series didn't go your way. How much of a sort of blow was that? And I suppose the attention that is on the England team now, and particularly when success doesn't come, this is very different to even when you were in the squad as captain.
Yeah, it's very different now. But we didn't play well, certainly in the T20s against India. They were really, really good, and I think that's what frustrates me at times is that sometimes the team can be better than us, and I think they certainly were. They played some really good cricket. Yeah, we didn't play at our absolute best, but we had a couple of injuries, certainly in that T20 series, that kind of didn't help our situation. The ODIs I thought was a fantastic series. It could have gone either way right till the very end, and that's what we want to. They're the games we want to play, and they're the games that certainly I learned from going into a World Cup. And for me, it was great to play the West Indies. We had great success, but massively challenged, and that's how we want women's cricket to be. I want to be turning up to games and having to really perform at our best to win games. So, but yeah, it was a great series and one I've learned a hell of a lot from.
Has it helped you to decide what your best 11 is? I know you said immediately after the series that you were getting there.
Yeah, I am. I'm getting closer, and we're getting closer as a selection panel, I think, to what that team and squad may look like. So yeah, it's. I think that's the great thing when you're put under pressure. You see players in different situations. I'm obviously still watching the 100 now and looking at performances and how people are performing, because that's ultimately, when I came in, I wanted us to play more. I wanted us to pick players performing, and I think the more we do that, the more we're put under pressure, the more we'll deal with that pressure when we're put under it in the big moments.
How much can you glean from the 100, given that is the shortest format of the game and the World Cup being 50 overs?
I think you can glean so much from it because the players are constantly under pressure. They're playing in front of big crowds. They're having to execute their skills. They're having to, do things that, potentially they haven't done before. And they're playing against really good players. So I'd be silly if I 3 weeks ago just said, oh no, this is the team. I'm learning all the time in this role. I think that's the really important thing for me. And I don't want to make rash decisions. I just want to have as much time as I possibly can and keep looking at players in different situations and in different teams and how they go about things.
I guess fielding, the idea of that fitness and agility side of it as well will come very much to the fore in the 100. Is that still very much a work in progress for your England players?
Yeah, absolutely. It is. It's something that obviously we've got that tag now, and I think at times I get frustrated because I think it's going to be one of those things that you can field really well and we drop one catch and we're still not a very good fielding team. And I don't think that's the case. I think we've not fielded well at times. We've done some really, really good stuff. We're working incredibly hard behind the scenes to keep pushing this team. And sometimes those things don't happen overnight and we've got to keep working hard. And I'm really confident that we can get ourselves into a place where people are talking really positively about our fielding.
And has the job matched up to what you thought it would be, Lottie, when you first took it on? How has it compared to being the head coach in the domestic setup as you have been around the world?
I've loved it. I mean, it's been busy. I think I took on the role on the 1st of April and I think I had my first sort of week off last week. So it's been full on. I've loved it. I've loved being back involved with England, and I've come in at a very busy time, straight into 2 international series, and then obviously planning for a World Cup. So I mean it's everything I thought it would be, but yeah, it's been fantastic.
And just a final thought, when you're talking about spin being such a key factor for this upcoming World Cup, what are you expecting from Sophie Ecclestone? Because she hasn't had the easiest 2025 just yet, with off-field as well as they're coming back on-field after a bit of a niggle injury as well. What are you hoping from her and where is she at, do you believe?
She's in a really good place. I think we all saw her come back into the India series and perform really, really well. she's enjoying her cricket again, which is the most important thing to me, because I think that was a big thing, having the winter she'd had and a few struggles. But I think we've got Sophie back smiling, enjoying cricket, and that's important for us as a group. And she's going really, really well, and hopefully, keep performing well in the 100. And really happy with where Sophie's at.
And so overall expectations, has the India series sort of been a little bit of a reality check about where you are as a team?
I don't think a reality check. I know that, India are going to be one of the favourites to play. We know we can beat them. We've beaten them and we've pushed them in all the games we've played against them this summer. So I'm really comfortable where we're at. I knew when I took on the role what I'd taken on, and I'm really comfortable that, we're going into a World Cup where, we know if we play our best, we can beat any team in that World Cup.
Lottie, thank you for being with us on Stumped. Good luck for the rest of the preparations.
Thank you.
So that was England head coach and former captain, of course, Charlotte Edwards, speaking to me about the upcoming World Cup. England, I think, will always be looked on as challengers, won't they, due to the professional nature of their domestic system now. I mean, Australia have been, way ahead of them, yes, on that front. India now with the WPL, but so many countries are way behind on that professional domestic front. England were beaten finalists at the last World Cup in New Zealand. The T20 World Cup of last year was not a good tournament for them. And on recent results, they're going to have to find a better way. Holding on to catches, making catches, being clean in the field is a big part of that. Jim and Charlie Edwards did say that, we know if we play our best, we can beat any team. So, Jim, how do you reckon England may fare come India?
They need their trumps to stand up. People like Sciver-Brunt, and you mentioned Heather Knight, they're coming back. I don't think they quite have the depth of some of the other sides. Well, certainly not Australia. No one has the depth of Australia. But on their day, they can be very competitive. They need to show a little bit more athleticism in the field, not only with their ground fielding, but with their catching. But yeah, they'll be competitive. And I just hope that they all stay fit. That's the big thing. One thing I did notice just the other night about this South African team, and maybe it flows out of the success they had at the final at Lord's, but they seem to be a very happy, collaborative brand of cricketers. They love playing with each other. They show the pleasure of playing cricket. So you need a bit of that too, I think. Yeah, the men, yeah. So I think, they need that kind of rub-off. And that comes with having some success. So if they begin well, they're in the game. Let's hope that happens, because all these tournaments much richer for the fact that teams play to the level of their ability. And England haven't done that for a while in major competition.
Well, Alison, this business about if we play well on our day, we can beat anyone sounds like a low percentage excuse. It's like, maybe once out of 10 times we might play. So it's not just going to be the day that you play well. It's got to be consistency. And England had that in the past. And I wonder why they're losing it now. Maybe a little bit of complacency against a team they'd beaten regularly in the past, or maybe is it too much cricket? Is it reserving some for the 100 that was to come? I'm not too sure, but they do seem below par, that's for sure. And also a little impatient, if I may say so, based on the series against India, just jumping down the track and trying to hit it big very often rather than just working players around. So without getting into too many specifics, it does look like there's, to me, and I beg your pardon if it's untrue, a lack of hunger. It's like they're just going through the paces. They seem to be enjoying playing with each other, as Jim mentioned, the South African men do. I think almost all women's teams seem to be enjoying themselves a lot more than the men do. It's just out there, there's so much more emotion and happiness. So I don't think that's the problem, but where's the hunger? And I don't think it's personal either, because they've got, England's had a head start over most countries in terms of the number of players and the depth. So I'm sure that's there. It's just they need to be more hungry and at the same time more patient in the field when things are not going their way.
And what of that India-England series, Charlie? I mean, there was a lot of criticism about England, particularly for their fielding. In that last ODI, really, it seemed that it was the fielding that cost them. They were chasing more than 300, but they got to within 13. Were India, though, overall just better?
It's possible that England was surprised by some of the new faces in the Indian cricket team. I'm not suggesting complacency, but they just didn't seem to understand how the Indian girls were coming so strong match after match. And so maybe more credit to the Indians because they are on the upswing, the Indian women's cricket. Some of the new names made a big difference. Maybe England were also surprised with the faster bowlers, the medium pacers of India, who traditionally haven't maybe done too much. The spinners have always, of course, done rather well. And maybe England were certainly surprised with the fielding and catching of the Indian team. I remember some outstanding catches that were taken, which made a very big difference to the outcome of the games. So, yeah, I think the English women were almost always seemed to be surprised at how well the Indians were playing. They just hadn't prepared that well. So maybe you can talk about a little preparation hole as well.
Jim, when we spoke about England's fitness and fielding with Charlotte Edwards there, she was saying, she gets frustrated with that kind of label. You put one drop catch down and you're back to being a terrible fielding side. I mean, how do you improve? Is it just practice, just getting more and more of those drills in?
Practice and confidence too, I think. The confidence of knocking off an India or an Australia on the way through, the things like that. Will make a big difference. But it's essentially confidence. And perhaps there's more difference naturally in the skill levels of some against the others. That's where, I shouldn't be saying this all the time, but it's hard not to. That's where Australia have got the acid on every team because of their better talent and athleticism, provided they turn up and play like that. So England just have to play their best, and you can't do more than that. And if they do, they'll be thereabouts.
Yeah, they've got a spin camp in Abu Dhabi to come as well. I'm sure that generally getting used to hot conditions, overall fitness certainly feeds into the fielding effort, isn't it? Those concentration levels, being able to stand in the field for 50 overs. But that's all we've got time for on this week's Stumped for Akashvani. Don't forget you can follow us on X. We're at BBCWS Sports and use the hashtag BBC Stumped. And check us out on YouTube as well by going to the BBC World Service on YouTube. My thanks to Charu Sharma, Jim Maxwell, and to all of you for listening. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.
Stumped is a BBC Sport production for the BBC World Service in association with ABC and Akashvani.